And get that urban area where you can live, work, and play in the same community.
Fully integrated community with private sector and public sector working together.
Adequate recreation facilities, roadways, and utilities.
We need more inter-facility, inter-community relations.
I always say, as a resident here in Miramar, I love the berms. They're beautiful. It's great to go down Miramar Parkway and not to look at exposed parking lots. And that's the purpose. As a police chief, I don't like them because when a police car drives down the road, they can't see the parking lots.
You can't tell what businesses are in some of these plazas because it's so beautiful with the landscaping and it's how do you...
Why would you bring your Fortune 500 business here? It's not because we got lands. It's not because the road ends there. It's because you can get workers.
What's unique about here is that you're going from pre-K all the way to grad, and the residents will not have to leave the city. That is very important because with transport costs, and childcare and all that stuff, you can have it all right here, and that's unique. In the other cities, you have to travel out.
The young kids want to live in the city where all the action is, and the elderly want to live near the hospitals, they want to live near their friends, they want to live near the grocery stores, they want to be able to get there walking, hopping the bus.
To see more of an emphasis on recreational activities, especially focusing on the seniors, because there's been so many more retirees coming in the next 20 years. More programs for them, more activities for them, and also for the children. More parks, more safe areas off of the main streets.
The energy efficiency of PV panels on the roofs of buildings here, how much could we save?
Still have electrical lines dangling from posts that we lose electricity, and we accept to lose electricity every time a little wind blows. These pipes have to be buried so we have a dependable electrical grid.
Traffic is a global issue in our city. Transportation is also a lack of public transit.
Now, Miramar is an excellent example of opportunities that are there if people take advantage of them. They have an aviation program that ties in with BCC, and the kids can go straight to there. The IB program is the top academic prep program in the world.
We need more trees. More trees.
I think I go back to location. I think that one of the strengths of Miramar is the location of the city. Yeah, it's a perfect location.
The physical center of the city is only a quarter mile east of 75. That's the physical center of the city. That's how wide we are. Because we go from 441.
We can do anything we set up to do, okay, if we do not have the fear, so we have to keep doing it. Don't be afraid, keep doing things.
East Side parks, lack of
affordable after-school care.
Nobody's mentioned the service of fire rescue for 2030. I mean, if you're anticipating like an aging population, that's going to be a critical service.
Business development within our city, whether it's getting our residents to the businesses, providing businesses opportunity to expand or to improve their
Enhancing the business.
I think a key word on partnerships is synergy. And synergy is essentially what two do together is more than the sum.
Sprawl doesn't work. Sprawl's expensive. Sprawl's a poor use of the land that we have. It's limited. There's only so much of it, and sprawl just uses up too many resources for a limited number of people. We need to think much more vertical. There's lots of laws against it. One of the difficulties in the 441 corridor work is the fact to make it work financially, they have to go 6 stories, and the rules don't allow them to go 6 stories. But until you hit 6 stories, the numbers don't work. So we need to be thinking more vertical development. The sprawl, it's expensive. It's expensive for transportation. It's expensive for roads. It's just expensive to sprawl.
Separate issue about public safety in general, crime, gangs, because if the schools have a problem, the kids come from a neighborhood, and it's bigger than just a school problem with their safety.
Burying the electrical lines, making sure that we have enough water, bringing gray water so we don't have to depend on real water just to irrigate lawns. You look at new power for the future citizens, all of those things. If you start them now, it'll be 20, 25 years before they're all done.
Tie the two communities together to utilize the retirees.
How about a
or
connection of community?
connection of community.
Yes, in parentheses, retirees and
Working to the working families, connecting them together.
I think you have a lot of elderly people with a lot of talent who would like to volunteer the use of that talent.
The West plant is based on deep wells and filtering out all the impurities, so the only thing that comes out is H and O. And then they mix it up and it creates H2O. So you actually have an RO plant on the west side of town that is eventually going to be providing water for the entire city as the expansion.
Revitalization is an opportunity. Water management. Opportunity to change the very idea of what leadership looks like. Our perception of leadership, we have that opportunity as we embrace the next generation.
Opportunity for senior housing is ours.
Look at our kids now that can't afford their own houses and are coming back.
home.
And those of us that were empty nesters, because I'll tell you, I got 2 of them that came back. One graduated college and one broke up with his girlfriend. So, can't afford to live on their own. That's a big issue because it's affordability of homes.
Services need to be plentiful, accessible, affordable, and equitable.
Establish a retirees skills bank where you're a retiree but you still want to contribute. What is it? Same contribution. You then give incentive to businesses to employ these retirees in community outreach kinds of programs.
Encourage more skill training centers to come into Miramar.
We celebrate those ethnic cultures individually. Each group does their own thing. I think to unite the community, I think the city ought to consider providing joint citywide celebrations.